Galatians chapter 6, verse 1, Paul wrote, "Brothers, if anyone is caught in any transgression, you who are spiritual should restore him in a spirit of gentleness. Keep watch on yourself, lest you too be tempted." When I was in college, I drove a 1967 FJ40 Toyota Land Cruiser. It was a robust vehicle. But before I purchased it, someone had installed big rubber bumpers for pushing other vehicles on the front. One day, as I was driving towards a shopping mall, I saw a person stopped on the side of the highway. And I always kept my tools in the vehicle, so I stopped to give the man a hand. But his problem was that his car had overheated, so I took a gallon of water that I had also kept in the cargo area and thought I would help him. However, it did not fix the problem because he had a busted radiator hose and the water just came right on out. And I knew that there was a car repair shop at the mall, so I offered to push his car to the shop where they could replace the hose for him. And he was very grateful. And he wanted to give me some money, but I didn't want anything. However, he did give me a new wallet. You see, he was a wholesale representative for a leather goods company, and he was headed to an appointment at the mall. The point of the story, though, is this. When we see someone in need, very often we will help if we have the resources to do so. It is the loving thing to do. Yet sometimes in the church, we can fail to help one with the greatest need that they have. That is to pick them up when they have fallen. Yes, in the church we're often great about taking someone food when they have little food. We'll take a work team to repair a widow's home. We will visit the sick in the hospital or send a note of encouragement to one who's struggling. Yet we often fail to meet one of the greatest spiritual needs of our brothers and sisters in the church. What spiritual need do we often fail to meet? It is a need for restoration when they have fallen into some sort of transgression. We might either ignore the need because it's too uncomfortable to address, or fail to respond in a proper biblical manner once it is identified. Now, these are two separate but vital issues, and both of which are issues of loving one another in the church. Let me explain. First, we may overlook the problem. The most hateful thing that we can do in our relationship with others in the church is to ignore them when they are caught in any transgression. To allow a believer to continue in a lifestyle of transgression without addressing the situation is to leave them on a path of spiritual destruction. It is like leaving them standing in front of a moving bus without trying to pull them to safety. Now, we must lovingly pull them back to safety, to the righteous path that's God's path for their lives. But second, we often respond to those caught in any transgression in a most unloving way, often with the wrong goal in mind. Here we read about the spiritual person. The spiritual person is the one who is led by the Spirit, will be the only one capable of handling such an issue correctly. The spiritual person will respond by demonstrating love, the love of Christ, in addressing the issue. The spiritual person seeks to restore the fallen one rather than to scold or wound the person. The unspiritual person will normally become the judge, jury, and executioner rather than the restorer of the individual. The interesting thing is this, that the verb restore in this verse means to complete thoroughly, to repair, to mend in order to make perfect. A good analogy is to consider what a surgeon does when setting a broken bone. He works to restore the broken bone in the person to its original function of usefulness. Now, such is the goal of spiritual restoration. It is to restore the fallen one to full fellowship and usefulness in the kingdom. Moreover, this verb restore is a command. It is not an option. Spiritual people are commanded to restore and not destroy the fallen one. Now, spiritual people are the only ones who do the work of restoration in a loving and gentle way. They will demonstrate a mild and loving disposition. They will directly address the issue, but in a way that demonstrates a heart of love for their fallen brother or sister in Christ. One more thing to note is this, that spiritual people will be able to do this work of restoration without being drawn into transgression themselves. Temptations come our way all the time. They may even come when we try to restore a fallen brother or sister in Christ. Thus, we must keep watch over ourselves so that we are not drawn into transgressions also. The spiritual person, which is the one led by the Spirit, is not immune to temptation. Even the Lord was tempted in every way just as we are, yet he did not sin. The spiritual person will properly address a fallen brother to restore while keeping watch that they too do not stumble. So let us be restorers or menders, loving restorers, not hateful destroyers.